What's going on, everyone? This is going to be a video response to the Late Boy Scout. Now, in his last video, he was talking about his Kershaw Blur lockup problems, and he actually had two Kershaw Blurs. One of them was a blemish model, and another one was a new model. And basically, he cut himself pretty bad due to the lock disengaging while using it. And so I recently got this blur. This one was actually used, and it's been de-assisted, and so I kind of checked it to see if mine was doing the same thing, and I'm going to explain to you what it was doing. Mine doesn't do this anymore because I fixed it. I fixed it, at least for me. But basically, the Late Boy Scout showed in his video, and I'll link his video to this one if you want to see. But as he was putting pressure on the spine of the blade, you could actually see the liner lock moving outward, disengaging from the face of the bottom of the blade there. So as he was putting pressure on the spine of the blade just a little bit, you'd actually see the lock moving back and forth. As he would put pressure on the spine this way, you'd see the lock moving out. And I pulled my blur out, and it was actually doing the same thing. And because this knife has been modified, the spring was taken out, it's been taken apart a few times. I really wasn't going to send it into Kershaw to try and get warranty repair to fix mine. Although I will say that even though my lock was moving out a little bit when I was putting pressure on it, it would not completely disengage. It would still catch the very corner of the bottom of the blade. But basically what I did, and I saw a few comments on the Late Boy Scout's video, some people said to try bending your liner lock inward more. Take the knife apart, put more pressure on it by creating more of a bend, and that's pretty much what I did. I took the knife apart and I bended that liner lock out quite a bit. Actually, there's a lot of tension on it now. It's actually quite difficult to disengage it, but the result of that is that I can put a great deal of pressure on that lock, and you can see it's not moving at all when I'm putting pressure on the spine of the blade. So for me, that's pretty much fixed it. I mean, the lockup is really solid. Before, you can kind of see the lock move, like I said, when you put pressure on it. And so for me, this fixes the issue. I know for some people that own the Blur, after watching that video, they might think, man, is this knife safe to use? And from what I've seen, it seems to be that there's just not a lot of pressure on that lock, and for whatever reason, when a lot of these come new from the factory, and I can't speak for all of them, I haven't had a lot of Blurs, this is actually my first one, but it seems like for whatever reason the bottom portion of the blade there is a little bit smooth, so when pressure is applied, that, like I said, the lock just kind of pops out. But by creating more pressure on the lock this ways, it's a lot more difficult to disengage. Now, the downside to that is that there is a considerable amount of force that I have to put in to disengage the lock because I bent it so much. And also, you're going to run into some centering problems possibly, although I was able to get this one pretty good. It's almost perfectly centered. The deployment is not buttery smooth. I mean, there's just a little bit of resistance, which is fine though, because the way that the detent is on this knife, it still opens up really quickly. And this is like I said, it's been de-assisted. There's no torsion bar in this one. So that's it. Just wanted to make a quick video response to the Late Boy Scout. And man, sorry about your finger. Hope it gets better. And hopefully you'll be able to get your blur fixed by Kershaw if you send it in. I know I just did this to mine because, like I said, it's been slightly modified, taken apart a bunch of times, but this seems to work pretty well. I mean, I can put a ton of pressure on this lock and it's not going nowhere. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope everyone has a good weekend coming up, and I'll talk to everyone later. Peace.